Every great story begins in obscurity. Every hero you've ever admired, every voice that shook nations, every name etched in history, they all began right where you are now. They stood at the same crossroads of doubt and desire, fear and faith. They faced the same questions that echo in your heart: am I enough? Can I really make it? Is there more to my life than this? What separates them from the rest wasn't luck, talent, or connections, it was vision. They refused to accept that their present defined their potential. They looked beyond the walls around them and saw what could be. They believed that destiny wasn't a matter of circumstance, but of conviction. You may feel unseen today, but so did they. You may feel unqualified, unprepared, or overlooked, but so were they. Every extraordinary life began in an ordinary place. The seed of greatness always starts in the soil of small beginnings. The question isn't whether greatness is in you, it's whether you'll have the courage to uncover it. Every great beginning starts in obscurity and uncertainty. The greatest men and women who changed the world did not begin their journey with applause or recognition. They started in silence, often unnoticed, often misunderstood. It is in those unseen places that destiny is formed. When no one claps for you, when no one believes in you, that is when your foundation is being tested. Because greatness never begins in comfort, it begins in obscurity. It is in those hidden seasons where you learn to rely not on the approval of others but on the conviction that burns quietly inside you. When you are unknown, you have the freedom to build without pressure, to grow without performance, and to prepare without distraction. Obscurity is not a punishment. It is a process designed to strengthen what will one day be revealed. Uncertainty, too, plays its part in shaping the extraordinary. Every person who ever accomplished something remarkable walked through the fog of not knowing what comes next. They had no guarantee of success, no assurance that their efforts would yield results. Yet they moved anyway. They spoke, they built, they dreamed, even when everything around them whispered, "What if you fail?" You see, uncertainty forces you to depend on vision more than visibility. When the path isn't clear, your faith must be. When the outcome isn't guaranteed, your consistency must be unwavering. In the seasons of uncertainty, something powerful happens. You begin to discover who you really are. When the plan falls apart and you're left standing in the unknown, you realize your potential isn't tied to circumstances, but to your perseverance. It's in the unclear moments that true leaders are born, because they learn to walk without sight, to move without applause, to believe without evidence. Every mountain climber starts at the bottom, staring at something that seems impossible. But the journey upward builds the very strength needed to reach the peak. Obscurity and uncertainty are the training grounds of destiny. The darkness you face now is not the absence of light, it is the womb of purpose. In that darkness, ideas are formed, resilience is developed, and character is refined. Every challenge you face while no one is watching is preparing you to stand strong when everyone is looking. You are not being overlooked, you are being built. Every hidden effort, every quiet act of discipline, every unseen sacrifice is a brick in the structure of your future. The people you admire, the ones who inspire nations, once walked through their own invisible seasons. They endured moments where the world didn't recognize their worth, but they refused to stop believing in the promise within them. If you are standing in obscurity today, understand that you are standing in the same place where every great story once began. The soil of uncertainty is where seeds of greatness take root, and though the world cannot yet see what is growing, it is there, alive and waiting for its appointed time to rise. Vision, not circumstance, defines the path to greatness. The difference between those who rise and those who remain is not found in their conditions but in their clarity. Vision gives purpose to pain and direction to confusion. It lifts the eyes beyond the immediate and focuses them on what could be. Many people are trapped not because life has limited them, but because they have limited their vision. They see only what is around them and not what is within them. Vision gives birth to hope, and hope fuels endurance. Without vision, every difficulty feels final, but with it, every difficulty becomes a doorway to growth. Circumstances are temporary, vision is eternal. A person with vision can look at a broken situation and still see possibility. Vision turns obstacles into opportunities and delays into preparation. The environment you are in right now doesn't define your future unless you allow it to. History is filled with individuals who rose above their surroundings because they could see something others could not. They were not blinded by what was missing, they were guided by what was promised. They didn't wait for everything to be perfect, they moved forward with what they had, believing it was enough to start. Vision is the inner picture of a preferred future. It's what keeps you walking when your feet are tired and your heart feels heavy. It's what whispers to your soul when your circumstances scream otherwise. You can be surrounded by chaos and still carry peace if your vision is clear. You can be surrounded by limitation and still feel free if your focus is fixed on purpose. That is why you must protect your vision from fear, doubt, and the voices that tell you to settle. Those who lose sight of their vision lose sight of themselves. Circumstances are often designed to test the strength of your vision. When things don't go according to plan, it's easy to question your path. But challenges don't mean your vision is wrong, they mean your capacity is being stretched to match it. Vision demands growth, and growth is never comfortable. You cannot carry a great vision with a small mindset. To walk in the path of greatness, you must learn to see beyond the pain, beyond the setbacks, beyond the opinions of others. Vision gives you the power to move when there is no applause, to trust when there is no evidence, and to build when there is no guarantee. The world often praises outcomes but overlooks the vision that made them possible. Every invention, every movement, every revolution began in someone's mind long before it became reality. Those who changed the course of history did so because they refused to let circumstances dictate their destiny. They chose to see differently, to think higher, and to act with faith when everything else said stop. Vision sees the invisible, believes the impossible, and creates the inevitable. Delay is not denial, waiting seasons build character and depth. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful has walked through periods where nothing seemed to move. In those moments, it's easy to believe that your dreams have been forgotten or that your efforts are in vain. But delay is not a rejection of your purpose, it is the refinement of it. Time has a way of maturing what impatience would destroy. The waiting season is where the unseen work of growth takes place. You may not see results on the surface, but beneath the soil of silence, your roots are spreading deep. The strength of any structure depends on the depth of its foundation, and that foundation is built when progress appears paused. The delay is not meant to discourage you, it is meant to develop you. Waiting reveals your motives, tests your endurance, and clarifies your vision. Many desire success but are not yet prepared to sustain it. The waiting season ensures that when the door opens, you have the strength to walk through it and the wisdom to remain there. Impatience leads to premature outcomes, and anything born too early struggles to survive. The process of waiting purifies ambition, stripping away pride and fear until only purpose remains. In that place, your heart learns to rely not on timing but on trust. Every seed planted must undergo a season of burial before it breaks through the ground. The darkness around it is not death but development. The soil presses against it, shaping and strengthening it until it's ready to emerge. In the same way, your delay is shaping you for the weight of your calling. If the seed resisted the soil, it would never reach its potential. Likewise, resistance to waiting only delays growth. What you perceive as stillness is actually preparation. The moments of quiet, the stretches of uncertainty, the seasons of waiting are divine workshops where character is forged. In waiting, you learn patience, humility, and faith, virtues that success alone cannot teach. Waiting strips away your illusion of control and reminds you that greatness is not built in haste. It teaches you to listen more deeply, to observe more wisely, and to act more intentionally. You begin to value progress over speed, endurance over excitement, and purpose over popularity. Delay trains you to keep walking even when there is no visible reward. It turns you from a dreamer into a doer, from someone who desires success into someone who deserves it. Many people abandon their purpose in the delay because they mistake silence for absence. But the truth is, the most powerful growth happens in quiet seasons. What feels like nothing is often everything being aligned behind the scenes. Delay gives you the chance to refine your skills, strengthen your spirit, and deepen your understanding of who you are becoming. When the waiting ends, and the opportunity arrives, you will recognize that the delay was never meant to stop you, it was meant to prepare you. Every master was once a beginner. Growth requires patience. No one starts at the top. Every person you see excelling in their craft began with uncertainty, mistakes, and moments of doubt. The path to mastery is not a leap but a long, deliberate climb. Every skill, every gift, every calling demands time to mature. The beginning is where you learn the language of persistence, the rhythm of discipline, and the humility of starting small. You cannot skip the process and expect the reward. Growth is not instant, it is gradual, often invisible, and always intentional. Patience is the price you pay for excellence. In the early stages, the gap between who you are and who you want to become can feel overwhelming. It's easy to look at others who seem far ahead and feel behind, but every expert once stood where you stand now. They stumbled through the basics, made countless errors, and faced moments where quitting seemed easier than continuing. What separates them from those who gave up is not superior talent but unwavering patience. They understood that time is a partner, not an enemy. Every repetition, every failure, every small improvement builds the foundation for greatness. Growth cannot be rushed because it is not just about skill, it is about transformation. The process of learning changes you from the inside out. You develop not only competence but character. Patience teaches humility, endurance, and focus. It removes the arrogance that demands results without effort. It replaces the desire for perfection with the pursuit of progress. True mastery is not about doing something flawlessly, it is about doing it faithfully. When you learn to embrace the slowness of growth, you begin to value the journey more than the destination. Every beginner faces the frustration of imperfection, but that frustration is a sign of growth. It means you are stretching beyond what is comfortable. The discomfort of learning is the birthplace of mastery. When you stay patient through failure, you allow experience to shape wisdom. Every mistake becomes a teacher, every setback a stepping stone. The greatest masters are not those who never fell but those who learned how to rise stronger each time. They learned that mastery is built through seasons of obscurity, countless hours of practice, and an unwavering belief in the process. Patience is what keeps you steady when progress feels slow. It reminds you that great things take time because true excellence cannot be manufactured overnight. The world often celebrates the finished product but forgets the years of unseen work behind it. The hours spent in silence, the sacrifices made in secret, the discipline maintained in solitude, these are the real ingredients of greatness. When you are patient with your growth, you give yourself permission to evolve at your own pace. You stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You understand that every master's story began in the same place, at the beginning, armed with nothing but a willingness to learn and the patience to keep going. Pain and struggle are the refining fires of purpose. No one becomes strong without being tested, and no destiny is fulfilled without endurance. Pain is not an enemy, it is a teacher. It introduces you to parts of yourself that comfort would never reveal. In the heat of struggle, your weaknesses rise to the surface, not to destroy you but to be transformed. Every challenge, every setback, every heartbreak is a chisel shaping the character required to carry greatness. Purpose is not born in pleasure, it is forged in pressure. What feels like breaking is often building. When pain enters your life, it strips away illusion and forces you to face truth. It silences distractions and demands reflection. You begin to see what truly matters and who you truly are. Struggle sharpens focus and ignites resilience. It teaches you that comfort is the enemy of growth, that ease rarely produces strength. The people who have left the greatest impact on the world are not those who avoided pain but those who allowed it to refine them. They understood that every hardship hides a lesson and every trial carries a treasure. What once seemed unbearable later becomes the foundation of unshakable strength. Pain purifies motives. It reveals whether your passion is shallow or rooted in conviction. When everything goes wrong and you still keep moving forward, you discover what is real within you. Struggle separates the committed from the convenient. It's easy to speak of purpose when life feels light, but in seasons of heaviness, your true resolve is revealed. The fire of adversity doesn't just test you, it transforms you. It burns away what is temporary so what is eternal can remain. You cannot carry purpose with untested strength, the weight would crush you. Pain is the process that builds that strength. Struggle also gives you empathy. When you've walked through darkness, you learn how to lead others toward the light. When you've tasted defeat, you understand the courage it takes to rise again. Pain connects you to the human experience and humbles your heart. It teaches you to serve, to listen, to care. Those who have suffered deeply often lead with compassion because they know what it feels like to fight unseen battles. Their scars become maps of wisdom, guiding others through their own storms. Every struggle holds within it a seed of transformation. The greatest version of you is hidden behind the walls of your greatest pain. It's not the easy days that define your strength but the difficult ones that reveal your endurance. Pain stretches your capacity, enlarges your vision, and deepens your faith. It teaches you that purpose is not about avoiding hardship but about finding meaning in it. The struggle you face today is not meant to break you but to shape you into someone capable of carrying more, giving more, and becoming more than you ever imagined. Faithfulness in small beginnings leads to lasting impact. Every great destiny starts with a small assignment, and how you handle the small determines whether you're ready for the great. It's easy to dream about success and overlook the value of the present moment, but true greatness is built in the hidden places where no one is watching. The habits you form when the spotlight is absent become the foundation of your influence when it arrives. Faithfulness is not about waiting for recognition, it's about doing what's right even when no one notices. The small things, discipline, consistency, humility, prepare you for the weight of larger responsibilities. If you cannot be trusted with little, you will never be trusted with much. Every big opportunity is born out of small acts of obedience. Every great leader once swept floors, took notes, or served quietly without applause. These seasons of humility teach you how to manage success without arrogance. They develop gratitude, patience, and endurance. Many want to start at the top, but the climb begins at the bottom for a reason. The process teaches you the value of what you're building and ensures that when you reach higher levels, your foundation will hold. Faithfulness in the small is not about perfection, it's about persistence. It's choosing to show up, give your best, and stay committed even when progress seems invisible. Small beginnings are not insignificant, they are strategic. They teach you to appreciate growth rather than chase greatness. They remind you that every oak tree began as a seed. If you rush the process, you rob yourself of the strength that comes from it. Each small step builds momentum, and each quiet effort adds to your legacy. Faithfulness is the discipline of continuing when enthusiasm fades, of choosing consistency over excitement. The world celebrates big moments, but heaven values small obedience. What you do when no one is clapping determines who you'll become when everyone is watching. Faithfulness in small beginnings also builds trust within yourself and from others. When you keep your word in small matters, you cultivate integrity. When you complete small tasks with excellence, you earn confidence to handle more. The journey to lasting impact is not marked by giant leaps but by steady steps taken daily. It's the unseen effort, the late nights, the quiet sacrifices, the countless times you chose to do the right thing instead of the easy one. Those small choices compound over time into something extraordinary. The temptation to despise small beginnings often comes from comparison. You look at others who seem further ahead and wonder why your progress feels slow. But comparison blinds you to the beauty of your own process. Every story unfolds differently, and the pace of your journey is purposeful. Faithfulness is not about speed but about steadiness. The ones who last are not those who start fast but those who stay consistent. When you remain faithful in the little, you prepare your heart, your habits, and your spirit for the greatness that will one day require everything you've built in the small.